Welcome to the third episode in a Legendarium series about Greek mythology. In Part 3, Prometheus and Pandora, we will talk about the great events that shaped humanity during the early reign of Zeus, called the Silver Age. With the ascent of Zeus, the Greeks believed that the golden age of the universe ended. Zeus created a new generation of man vastly inferior to the gods in appearance and wisdom. He also divided the year into 4 seasons, which laid the groundwork for the agricultural year. For the first time, humanity had to fend for itself. Much like Adam and Eve, these early people were quite helpless, lacking clothes, tools, or even basic skills to find food, leaving them scrounging for roots. Even worse, they tended to be childlike and immature, requiring 100 years to come of age, with many dying before they reached their hard-won maturity. During this difficult time, humanity found help from a member of the race crushed by the Olympians, the Titans. Prometheus, whose name means forethought, led the battle between the Titans and the Olympian gods. Prometheus did, however, switch sides and support the victorious Olympians when the Titans refused to follow his advice and used trickery to win battles. In some traditions, Prometheus made the first man from clay, while in others, the gods made all the creatures upon the earth. And in this second version, the gods tasked Prometheus and his brother Prometheus with endowing all creatures with gifts so they might survive and prosper. Prometheus liberally spread around gifts like fur and wings, but by the time he got around to man, he ran out of gifts. Feeling sorry for man's weak and unclothed state, Prometheus raided the workshop of Hephaestus and Athena on Mount Olympus and stole fire by hiding it in a hollow fennel stalk. He then presented the valuable gift to man, which would help him in life's struggle. It made an immense difference, allowing man to warm themselves in caves, cook food, frighten off dangerous predators, and flush out game. Prometheus also taught man how to use fire to forge metal tools. This made some Greeks associate him with science and discovery. Indeed, Mary Shelley included the Modern Prometheus as a subtitle for her novel Frankenstein. And in a slightly different version of the Prometheus story, mankind already had fire, and Prometheus tried to trick Zeus into eating bones and fat instead of the best meat during a meal at Mount Olympus. And Zeus, in his anger at Prometheus, took fire away so that man, Prometheus's favorite, would have to eat his meat raw, like he did. Prometheus then stole the fire in this alternative version, and this account explained why, in animal sacrifices, the Greeks always dedicated bones and fat to the gods while eating the meat themselves. Whatever the case, with fire, humanity now had a chance. But as humanity enjoyed this gift, Prometheus warned his brother Prometheus to never accept a gift from Zeus which would counteract his blessing for mankind. Of course, Prometheus's act did not please Zeus, who ordered the Titan to be taken far to the east, perhaps the Caucasus Mountains, the edge of the known world to the Greeks. And here, the gods chained Prometheus to a rock or a stone pillar, and Zeus sent an eagle to eat the Titan's liver. Even worse, the liver regrew every night, and the eagle returned every day to perpetually torment Prometheus. Fortunately for man's benefactor, but only after many years of suffering, Hercules passed one day during his celebrated labors, and out of compassion he killed the eagle with one of his arrows. Prometheus was worshipped in Athens, particularly by potters who needed fire in their kilns, and the city held an annual torch race in the god's honor. Of course, humanity prospered with Prometheus's gift, but Zeus did not want us to become too great. During the Silver Age, humankind consisted entirely of long-lived men, and it says something about ancient Greek misogyny that they believed Zeus created a woman to counteract the blessing of Prometheus. This has striking parallels with the Christian tradition of Eve eating the forbidden apple in the Garden of Eden. Zeus commissioned Hephaestus, the god of fire, to fashion a woman out of the earth, upon whom the gods bestowed their gifts. Hermes made her beautiful as a goddess with a tongue to tell lies and the mind of a treacherous dog. Athena dressed her in silver clothing and taught her weaving. Hephaestus crowned her with a golden diadem made from animals and sea creatures. Aphrodite poured grace upon her head along with desires and cares to weaken her. Zeus sent Pandora to Epimetheus, who forgot the warning of his brother Prometheus and accepted the god's gift. Within his house, Epimetheus kept a jar, in some versions also a gift from Zeus. This was a large jar called an amphora, used to store goods underground and to prevent spoilage. Because of her insatiable curiosity, Pandora lifted its lid, and every trouble flew out of the jar, including strife, sickness, toil, and myriad other ills. Pandora kept only one spirit in the jar as she shut the lid, a timid sprite called Elpis, which often translates into hope, the one thing that would sustain humanity with so many troubles loose in the world. And so the Silver Age of Greek mythology began with humanity laboring and suffering while the gods attended to their many soap operas. That wraps things up for this episode of The Legendarium. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, press like. If you want to see more, press subscribe. And if you've got anything to say, let me know in the comments section. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day.